Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Coyle with Capital Safety. I am here on behalf of PK Safety today, and what we're going to be walking through is our demonstration on how to inspect our self-retracting lifelines. So as a competent person, you have the sometimes daunting task of inspecting the retractables, and that liability can rest on your shoulders, and we want to make sure that you're feeling comfortable in what you're doing and know how to do things properly when it comes to the inspection of this equipment. So what I'm going to walk through are the examples of inspecting a cable self-retracting lifeline and a web self-retracting lifeline, so you can see some of the differences in what we're looking for in the two different types of products, and should be fairly representative of what you'll see in the field. You'll want to make sure that you have some gloves on, so when you're especially inspecting the cable system, you don't end up cutting your hands by accident. But the first thing that we're going to be looking for on these devices is a visual external inspection. So with these two products, they're both going to be required under an ANSI standard to have a visual impact indicator. So in the event that someone were to take a fall, this will act as a quick visual check for you to make sure that, first of all, the equipment hasn't been subjected to a fall. So for our cable devices, where we're going to find this most often is at the base of the snap hook. If the device were to go through a fall, you're going to see a red bar that's exposed at the base of the swivel hook, which will tell you that this has been impacted and would need to be removed from service. So you'll find that for, like I said, on your cable units at the base of that hook. With your web retractable units, you're going to find that that impact indicator also at the base of the hook, but it's going to be in the form of some sort of red stitching. So that'll be your indicator if that red stitching is broken loose, that product has been impacted. So with this equipment, if you do find that it has been, something does fail in the inspection process, you can send it back into the manufacturing facility, such as Capital Safety or into PK Safety, and they can have these products recertified for you and sent back out to the field. Okay, so that's the one nice thing about the block retractable units, is that they are repairable. With that being said, if you've gone through the equipment and you didn't find an impact indicator that has been deployed, moving through the rest of the retractable, checking to make sure that our snap hooks are functioning properly, so they should automatically lock back when you release them, so they're fully closed. That should be one check that you're looking for, as well as with your carabiner on the top of the retractable that's connecting it to the anchor point, making sure that that's snapping back closed on itself and it's not catching or sticking open, which could indicate that something's wrong with the connector device. Okay, so after that, continuing on with the external inspection of the retractables, making sure that we're looking at the housing of the equipment, making sure we don't have any cracks or we're not missing any screws or any sort of hardware that could have been damaged, isn't out of place. Checking to make sure that we have all of our labels on the equipment, so that all needs to be legible. That's going to have our model number, serial number, date of manufacturer, and all of our user capacity and specific specifications that are important to the retractables. So we need to make sure that those are on there and that they're legible. Okay, and you're also going to have your inspection record documentation on the backs of the retractables, so that'll be important to make sure that we're keeping up to our inspection standards and ensuring that these are going through the proper inspections. Okay, so after you've gone through that and made sure that we don't have anything damaged on the external portion of the housing, everything looks to be okay. Then there's a couple other things that we're going to do to try and verify that everything inside is functioning properly. Okay, you want to make sure, this is where your gloves will be important. For our cable units, you're going to want to pull the whole length of the cable out just to get a good proper inspection and make sure that you don't have any cut in the cable, or you don't have any kinks or any cuts in the cable, or you don't have significant amount of buildup inside of there that could cause the system to gum up and not fully retract. So that's the other issue, is that we want to make sure that this system is retracting all the way back up into the housing by itself. Okay, if it's sticking and hanging out there, that could let you know that something is wrong with the internal spring. That's not allowing it to retract all the way back up, and thus would need to be taken out of service. Okay, and again, you can send that back into the manufacturer. We can pull it back apart, figure out what's going on with it, replace it, and send it back out to the field. Okay, so give that a good check. So the cable looks okay. We don't have any corrosion or rust or any damage to the cable. The other thing that we're going to want to do is check to make sure that our brake is still functioning properly. So give it a good firm pull to make sure that locking component is still functioning. Once you've verified that, another step for the cable unit specifically is going to be to pull the bumper loose on the end of the cable. That just protects the system from the snap hook from slamming back up into the housing. So pull that and make sure that all our cable crimps on the end of there are still in place and we don't have any damage to those, okay? So after you've inspected that, you've pretty well gone through all the requirements and checkpoints on the cable retractables. And so you should have your bases covered there. A couple things that you're going to be looking for on the web units, making sure that after you've checked all your visual indicators, check the housing itself, make sure you don't have any cracks or any damage to it. All the screws are in place. The snap hook is locking back closed. Then of course, pull your webbing all the way out, making sure you don't have any burn holes or cuts on this, on the line. So if you have, for example, this one has 11 feet of web inside of it, you're going to want to make sure that you pull that all the way out, the full 11 feet, to make sure that you're not missing anything down the length of the line, okay? And again, you can give it a few firm pulls to make sure that that system is going to lock up the way it should be, okay? And beyond that, all the other points we've covered in terms of the inspection, so hopefully this gave you a good overview of what we want to be looking for when inspecting a self-retracting lifeline.